Welcome, everyone, to our What's Here, What's New, What's Next presentation, a 2026 Vision Expo recap. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really look forward to your questions throughout the presentation. You can enter them by clicking on the Q&A icon on the top of your screen. My name is Jabria Lewis, and it's my pleasure to be with you today to introduce Jeremy Law and Sarah Willett. Sarah has more than 24 years of experience in the optical industry, including 14 years with Eyefinity. She currently serves as a software solutions product manager at Eyefinity, where she focuses heavily on Encompass claims management and billing related solutions, helping drive clarity, efficiency, and value across complex healthcare workflows. Sarah is deeply passionate about supporting customers and improving their day-to-day experiences. Jeremy is an Eyefinity Software Solutions product manager with 15 years of eye care experience. He's previously worked as an optometric technician and office manager for an eye care practice. And today he collaborates closely with doctors and our engineering teams to design enhancements for the EHR experience in Eyefinity Encompass. And in his spare time, he also enjoys playing a variety of musical instruments, including guitar, violin, and harp. Please join me in welcoming Sarah and Jeremy.
Thank you, Jabria. Appreciate the introduction. And hello, everybody. As Jabria just mentioned, I see some folks are jumping in right now. Make sure to acquaint yourself with that Q&A button within Teams because we want to hear your questions throughout. We're going to take time at the end, but feel free as we're going through, if something comes to mind, go ahead and take your question and type it into that chat, and we'll answer it once we get a chance. All right, so today we're going to cover a few different things. We're going to talk about where Eyefinity Encompass is today, what we recently introduced. So if you missed us at Vision Expo, we'll be covering some of the highlights today. We're going to be talking about what's on the way for later in 2026. And finally, we're going to show you Encompass Scribe in action. So I'm excited to get to cover that and to hear all of your questions. So let's get right into it. For anyone who's not familiar with Encompass, I'm just going to give a little bit of background. So when we launched Encompass, our goal was pretty simple. We wanted to give eye care professionals one platform that makes life easier and patient care better. And we've delivered on that promise through what we call our core four essential capabilities that work together seamlessly. Let's start with practice management. So we know with nearly 70% of patients preferring online scheduling, Encompass helps your team prepare for a smoother experience. It helps your team streamline appointments, billing, and all of your administrative workflows. Patient engagement, the next quadrant here, modernizes communication with automated recalls and reminders, which can help practices see up to a 30% reduction in no-shows, which helps keep your schedules full and consistent, which everybody loves. Then there's our EHR. Our cloud-based clinical solution makes documentation fast and accurate. In fact, Encompass users have already submitted, I believe, over 20 million exams this year, showing you just how well the system scales with your practice. And finally, we have analytics. With a network of over 9,000 providers, Encompass delivers real-time marketing reports and performance insights that help you make smarter decisions for long-term growth. By bringing these four pillars together, we reduce complexity and support seamless patient care. So that's an overview of Encompass at a high level. Sarah, can you walk us through some of the ways that the practice management and patient engagement capabilities help practices day to day?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeremy. When we think about practice management, it's really about maximizing efficiency for both staff and patients. Integrated online scheduling lets patients book 24/7 and syncs appointments directly into Encompass, helping reduce workload while supporting organic growth. With our enhanced VSP patient experience, you can pull VSP eligibilities and authorizations in bulk up to 7 days in advance. With the VSP out-of-pocket calculator, staff can clearly show coverage and estimates, reducing checkout surprises and supporting patient decision-making. With our fully integrated VSP solution, you're able to submit lab orders and claims electronically, saving staff precious time, as well as receive VSP payments electronically through our ERA payment integration, which really simplifies the whole VSP reconciliation process. And through our partnership with TriZetto, practices can optimize billing and claims management by submitting claims and receiving remittance electronically, helping ensure clean submissions and faster payment. All of this helps automate scheduling, eligibility, ordering, and billing, creating a smoother experience for your team and your patients. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about our patient engagement. With rising competition and shifting expectations, practices that prioritize engagement, both for staff and patients, are better positioned to build loyalty, reduce no-shows, and increase revenue. Our modern engagement tools are designed to meet patients where they are, from a fully managed website to automated text and voice reminders, online forms, and more. These tools integrate directly with Eyefinity Encompass to create a patient experience that feels connected, accessible, and responsive. With Eyefinity Patient Navigator, patients get secure 24/7 access to prescriptions, receipts, and order updates, making it easier for them to stay informed. And with online payments on the way, you'll be able to offer even more convenience. Our digital marketing services help practices stay visible and competitive with a fully managed website, SEO, online reviews, and email marketing. Everything you need to strengthen your online presence without adding to your workload. Together, Encompass practice management and engagement tools create a modern, cohesive experience for both your staff and your patients. Jeremy, what are some ways practices can increase their clinical efficiency with Encompass?
Thank you for asking, Sarah. There are really so many cool features within the clinical side of Encompass to talk about, but I'm just going to pick on just a couple of here. So first of all, I mean, as a whole, EHR through Encompass helps keep your documentation smooth and importantly, keeps your patients informed. We all know that with a lot of the new legislation that's been passed within the last couple of years, patients expect to be able to see, and you are legally required to provision them access to their records, which is something you never really have to worry about when you're using Encompass. So you're able to send secure messages and attachments right from the EHR, and patients can complete their forms and review visit notes, prescriptions, and more directly from their secure patient portal. To simplify repetitive tasks, we have something called exam protocols, which lets you build reusable templates for the exam types and conditions that you see most frequently, which saves you time and improves the consistency of your documentation. Encompass also makes it super easy to stay compliant. It's SOC 2 Type 2 certified. It's ENAC accredited, and it's always HIPAA compliant, so your patient data stays protected. Encompass also has really neat features like image management, which enables you to quickly annotate and display diagnostic images, helping you spend less time navigating screens and between different systems and devices, and instead spending more time speaking with your patients. I recently talked with Dr. Dwayne Wires, who's an OD practicing in Ohio, and he shared that image management freed him up from his computer and allows him to review all of the images with his patients right from the iPad app, which is really exciting when you can just kind of sit right next to your patient, show them the images, zoom in on things like that. It's just, it really sends that wow factor to your patient, which Dr. Wires is a fan of. All of these things that I mentioned and more are tools that can help you deliver a smooth, high quality experience at every touch point. But you might be wondering, how does this affect your practice performance? So we also mentioned just a little while ago, analytics. So analytics and Eyefinity Encompass puts your data to work. When your numbers are clear, you as the decision maker can make confident decisions about staffing, inventory, store hours, billing, all of that. Reports in Encompass are flexible and reliable, helping you and your staff with insights about how you can improve your operations. For example, you can get a clear view of cash flow very easily with Encompass. You can track payments over any time period, and you can compare your results year over year to identify growth, declines, seasonal patterns, really any opportunities you have to maybe make some operational changes in your practice. There's also extensive filtering and intuitive visual dashboards. So it's easy to see what matters most to your practice, and you're able to drill into things that might be of particular interest to you. Some key performance indicators that our doctors like to track are, of course, things like capture rate, revenue per patient, exam volume, and inventory performance. All of these things, being able to have you and your staff on the same page about what's happening in the practice helps you support a culture of data-driven decision making that fuels efficiency and innovation. And it's that same commitment to innovation that helps Eyefinity Encompass moving forward. So over the last year, you may have noticed a lot of new features that we've introduced. We've been working very hard to introduce new products, integrations, and functionality that supports practice management, patient engagement, and analytics within Encompass. Some of the notable examples which we got to show off at Vision Expo include Encompass Message, our net collections report, and Encompass Pay. So all of these Encompass features, are designed to bring more simplicity, efficiency, control, and more importantly, opportunities to offer a modern patient experience while increasing financial visibility for you and your staff. Sarah, can you share some of the insights that you have on why these additions have been so critical to practice growth?
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeremy. These latest additions have really revitalized how practices connect with patients and how patients stay connected throughout their visit experience. With Encompass Message, practices can deliver fast, efficient communication that helps reduce no-shows by up to 30%. And with secure two-way messaging across text, voice, and email, we've seen powerful results. 95.5% of patients reported feeling more connected to their care team after receiving text updates. And here's something many people don't realize. Providers collect less than 50% of patient balances today. Even though patients want to pay online, yet 71% of practices are still using manual payment processing. Our two newest tools, Encompass Pay and the Net Collections Report, help close both of those gaps. Encompass Pay brings integrated payments directly into Encompass, accelerating cash flow with a simple fixed rate solution and no surprise fees, giving your patients convenience and giving your practice peace of mind. And the Net Collections dashboard delivers real-time visibility into what you're actually collecting. You can compare performance by doctor, by staff, by location, which was especially important for many of our OfficeMate and ExamWriter customers as they transition to the cloud. Also, be on the lookout for the new account receivable dashboard. This dashboard brings insurance and payment balances into one workspace for clear financial visibility. We also have future dashboards that will be coming, including new KPIs for production and capture rate to help understand practice performance. And while there are the latest additions to the Encompass ecosystem, every day we're continuing to build towards what's next. Jeremy, can you share some of the latest updates coming to Encompass?
I would love to. So, as we showcase at Vision Expo, here's a look at what's on the way for the Encompass platform. So, first, we have TriZetto Claim Status Inquiry. So, this is pretty neat. I just learned about this recently. This is a tool that gives practices faster insight into claim status and streamlined billing workflows. This expanded integration allows practices to check claim status directly within Eyefinity Encompass without switching systems. So you're not having to go outside of Encompass to go and check claim status. What we found through our research is that this cuts review time down per patient from 12 minutes, which was the average time it took to perform this task, to under 1 minute. So this integrated claim status inquiry really helps you streamline your whole billing area of your practice. Second, there's online payments. So this is, of course, exciting to pretty much anyone who's had to pay a bill online for medical. It's what patients are coming to expect. So with online payments, you can offer patients a convenient, mobile-friendly way to pay their billing statement online. Features will include a patient-friendly interface, patient portal with no logins needed, and 24/7 access to pay their bills digitally. Additionally, we'll have patient intake enhancements. This will be a single place to manage incoming forms, confirmations, and patient data before appointments, giving your staff visibility that they need ahead of time to make sure that the patients have a welcoming experience and they're not getting caught up with surprises in the lobby. And finally, as we mentioned earlier, delivering more face time is often key to practice success. So let's dive into the latest product designed to help you engage with your patients. Encompass Scribe. So some of you might have experienced this firsthand at Vision Expo. We introduced a new product, which we call Encompass Scribe. It's built right into the EHR capabilities of Eyefinity Encompass. And this is an AI-assisted documentation tool that understands and interprets natural human dialogue. It's trained on eye care terminology specifically, and it's there to help you during the patient visit, turning your conversations into proposed visit notes. It doesn't require extra hardware or software, and it's ready to enable instantly on the iPad. So I'm actually going to show off what this looks like a little bit. This is sort of just a quick demo, but one of the great people from Eyefinity on the line here, Courtney Heron, would be happy to schedule some time one-on-one with you if you're interested to see Encompass Scribe in action, throw at different scenarios. This is something that I had a ton of fun with at Vision Expo, was just letting doctors come up to the booth and hand them the iPad, and with no training at all, oftentimes doctors who had never used Encompass before, they were successfully able to document a medical exam from start to finish just by chatting with the iPad. So I'm going to just show you a very quick version of that. Right here, I've got a patient's chart open within our iPad app. If I go ahead and I go into the visit, you'll see I have this button in the top right corner, which allows me to record the visit. Now, if I'm in practice that wants to enable this, I'm just kind of putting something in my pre-visit paperwork along with, the patient's HIPAA signature and any other information I'm collecting, so that they can opt out, but most importantly say that they're okay with the visit being recorded. There's no like recording that is stored long term in terms of like the actual speech between you and your patient, but it's just used to create the documentation. So this is something that is pretty easy to set up. If the patient gives consent for the visit to be recorded, I'll hit accept, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button. And from here, I can have a conversation with the patient that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 30, doesn't matter. It's going to go ahead and record the entire conversation and translate what I discuss with the patient into structured exam documentation. So once I've chatted with the patient, I've verbalized my findings. Maybe we chatted about sports, the weather, we chatted about what their kids are up to. The iPad is going to process all of that. The typical processing time for the conversation, let's say it's a 15-minute encounter, it's about 30 seconds. So it's pretty fast. And by the time that you're wrapped up with the patient, you can go ahead and view the reconciliation here. So again, you as the doctor, you are in control. The AI is assisting you, but it's not, deciding what goes into the chart. Everything that it suggests here, you have control over, whether it's introduced into the record. You have the ability to edit it, delete it. You are in the driver's seat. So you can see here what we do is we give you an overview of all the things that the AI is suggesting. So for example, in this case, the patient's here for a glaucoma follow-up. And so you can see if I mention that they're on Alpha-GAN and I want to give them a second drop called latanoprost, I can do that. If I want to ever review what I discussed with the patient, I can easily open the drawer like this to see exactly what was discussed. So a lot of times practices, they're busy, right? You got a lot of patients and you don't necessarily have time to finish all your documentation. If that's sounds like you, right? You're coming back maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, or even at the end of the day to finish charts. One of the really nice things about this tool is that you can see exactly what you talked about with the patient. Now, this is only stored temporarily. It's not, part of the medical record, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's very accurate at picking up exactly what was discussed. When we were at Vision Expo, we were right next to a DJ booth. It was loud, right? There's tons of people talking, and the scribe was able to pick up everything. So as long as it's, somewhere in the room, you should be good to go, which is really the differentiator here, because you can set the iPad on your desk and you can just have a conversation face to face with the patient. I experienced this recently with one of my providers that I go to, and it was amazing to not have my doctor turn away from me or be like, looking and distracted by things on a screen. We just had a conversation for about 10, 15 minutes, which made me feel like this is, one of the best doctors I've ever gone to. So Let's say I love everything here. What'll happen is now that I've approved it, it puts everything into the specific fields of the EHR as if a human being did it. So this is different from a lot of other scribe solutions that you have seen within the eye care space. This isn't just generating a SOAP note, which I then have to transcribe into my EMR. So like if I want to track IOP, or if I want to track axial length, if I'm treating patients for myopia management, or if I want to track gonioscopy or what their cup to disc ratio is. If I wanted to track any of those things, I would have to transcribe it from a SOAP note into the fields of the EHR so that I could look at, well, we have a feature called iLog, which allows you to track the progression of, various disease indicators over time. We just go ahead and our AI solution puts it into the fields. So you can see what I have here is a fully coded exam. I didn't have to touch anything beyond just recording the visit, making sure I liked what was being recorded, and then coming in here to review. So you can see this patient is coming in for a level 3 medical exam. We've got our visual fields. We've got a OCT that we performed. And you can see here, it will take a chief complaint. So I can give this to my staff members, right? My technicians. And without being super well trained on capturing like a very professional chief complaint, all I have to do is have a conversation with the patient, and it's going to make it turn it into a very professional, concise chief complaint and history of present illness. You'll also notice that it will do all of your slit lamp findings. It's going to do all of your diagnoses, your plans. And in this case, right, it will tie the findings that you talk about to the imaging that you captured. So if you have to produce an image interpretation report for the patient's insurance in order to get reimbursed, that's done. I don't have to do anything, like any extra steps to produce that report. You just hit a button that says, create the report, and it's done. I can just send that right off to the patient's insurance. You'll see that also my prescriptions are ready to be sent off. So in this case, the patient's on alpha-gan and latanoprost. In a lot of other scribe solutions, I would have to take that SOAP note and I'd have to go back into the e-prescribing section of my EMR and punch in the SIG and all the other information for my medications. Our scribe takes care of all of it, so I don't have to do anything. At this point, the patient's already told me what their pharmacy is because they've used our kiosk. And so I can just e-prescribe this as soon as I finalize the exam. I don't have to do any extra work. It knows that I counseled the patient. It knows that I did glaucoma assessment. It knows that I want to see them back for a month for an OCT and a slit lamp exam to check their visual acuity and IOP. And all of this can be done through the scribe. What's really takes us to the next level, I think, is if you do a lot of medical billing, all of this documentation helps make sure that you are ironclad in the case of an audit. When you have this code here, it's backed by something that is unique to our system, which is that we do automated medical decision-making calculations. So we have medical coding that's automated based on guidance from the AMA. So again, we really try to make it as easy on you as possible so that you can focus entirely on talking and connecting with your patients and delivering just awesome, great patient care. So that's this demo at a high level. I do want to hear if there are any questions from folks in the crowd. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop presenting and pass it back to Jabria if you want to take over.
Wow, thanks, Jeremy. Encompass Scribe, that looks like a showstopper. Very exciting new feature in our Eyefinity EHR. Everything we've shared today, every new feature, every enhancement has one purpose: to make your practice run smarter and more seamlessly. And that's exactly what Eyefinity Encompass was designed to do. If you're ready to learn more about Encompass, go ahead and scan the QR code to request a demo. And if you're a current customer, you can email Courtney Heron directly to help extend your Eyefinity Encompass platform. She is here with us today to help answer any additional questions. So we'll open it up now for Q&A, and I will hand it back over to Jabria. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah and Jeremy. Yes, just a reminder to click on the Q&A icon at the top of your screen if you have any questions. We'll give it just a moment. It looks like we have one question. Will patients be able to pay eyeglass order balances online?
Jabria, can you say that again? Were there patients? What was
Will
that?
patients be able to pay eyeglass order balances online?
Yes, they will. So with Encompass Pay, you will have to have Encompass Pay and Patient Navigator, and you would have a link on your website to where you can have your patients go and make a payment. Or once you create an order, they will be sent a text or an email with a link where they can also pay online.
Awesome. Well,
Any
it looks
others?
like that is the only question that we have for today. So I will go ahead and wrap up today. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you to Jeremy and Sarah for your time and for sharing all these new additions to Vision Expo, from Vision Expo and to the new platform. And thank you to all on the line for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. This concludes our presentation.